Hello and welcome to Drive and Double Feature Podcast. I'm Nathan.
I'm Ryan.
And this is the podcast where we cover 2 movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. But before we get into today's movie, be sure to check out our Patreon. Over there for just $5 a month, you help support the channel, you help support the podcast. But on top of that, you get fun games, fun conversations. It kind of rocks over there. We're rocking out, rock and roll, that whole deal over there. If you've ever heard of rock music, I heard it's like what the kids are into nowadays. But no main show content is locked behind that. So today we are talking about 1986's Space Camp. Yeah, we're finally doing it, people. We're covering Space Camp. And Ryan, I want you to take the lead on this one because I know you probably know all about Space Camp since you're such a space cadet, space freak.
What are you talking about, Nathan?
That's what I thought you were going to say. You don't know anything about Space Camp?
I, I listen. There's many different facets of my life, and Thursday Ryan is a lot different than Tuesday Ryan. It's
Oh,
just
okay. All right. I get it. So you
Tuesday
are
Ryan doesn't know. He has no interest in space at all.
Gotcha. Okay. So you probably hated this movie. Oh boy. I can't wait to get into
No,
this.
no, of course, Nathan. I got the season pass holder to
Yeah.
NASA at the Space Center. But you know what, Nathan? This movie has changed my opinion about the NASA Space Center.
Really? How did it change your opinion?
Well, Nathan, I mean, I just thought, that they're so careless in this movie that they'd put they were just able to access their flight codes just by a little robot, and they'd give him, like, they just was able to sweep that under the rug. It disgusted me, frankly, and I'd never want to set foot at NASA ever again.
Gotcha. So after this
Now, this is
episode,
this is this is disregarding the quality of the film. It's just saying as their philosophy as a whole and their poor safety protocols have made me question it.
I like that. I like that you're a man who sticks to like your values. You saw something in this movie that is, the movie's not real, but it is based on true events. And it's just a little scummy of NASA. So this is it. After this, you're done with like NASA facilities and stuff like that.
Not only that, I'm through going places.
Okay, interesting. Wow, you're just gonna stay inside and watch movies all day. Sounds kind of nice.
That that's my life, yes.
Yes. All right. Well, cool. Well, we can talk about this one. So, Space Camp 1986. I've actually wanted to watch this one for a little bit, Ryan. Funny enough.
I do want to ask, have you ever been to space camp?
I have not. I have not. But my mom went to Space Camp, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Like around the time of this movie?
yes, yeah, when she was in the 6th grade. So I believe it was around the same time as this movie. Um, Actually, yeah, that would make sense. My mom didn't quite do all of the classes and stuff. It was just a weekend at Space Camp that she won through like she's because I talked to her today about it through like some Ronald Reagan program for math. She did really good and she got a trip to Huntsville, Alabama to go to Space Camp where this movie was shot. I guess my mom really liked space. And you know what? She really loved this movie. And she's told me about this movie before. She watched it as a kid a lot. So I was like, okay, I'm interested in it. And I asked her, I was like, do you still like this movie? And she's like, I haven't watched it in a long time. I'm sure it's stupid. So, so that might explain a few things. But this is a family movie. This is a kids movie about a group of kids that do go to space camp. Now, space camp I have no experience with. I'm in the Kennedy Space Center. That's cool. Have you ever been to Kennedy? Well, do I even need to ask? But I'm sure you have.
Oh yeah, yeah, I've been to Space Center.
Yeah.
But I've never been to space camp.
Mhm.
I do remember seeing like ads on TV, like, oh, you can go to, or like you'd go to like the Nickelodeon game shows, and like one of the prizes, like, you just want a
Yes.
weekend at space camp, type of
Yes.
thing.
They made it sound
Eh,
so cool. Like you were gonna like go in like anti-gravity devices and you were going to space. God, I feel like I'd be awful at space camp. Like I wouldn't have done a good job at all if it's like this movie.
I feel like you would be put like in those like one of those gyroscope things.
Uh-huh.
You do like that, like they swing you around, and then you get in like this little simulator, and they kind of like shake it to like make it seem like you're re-entering Earth's atmosphere. It's like, whoa, that was cool, right? You know, they don't. I don't think they'd actually do like anti-gravity stuff.
No, there's no way. Even though Space Camp does still exist in Alabama, there were other Space Camp programs. There was one in Titusville, Florida, but that shut down in 2002. And I think there are a few others. Those are gone now. But the one in Alabama is still open. And hopefully they put you in a box still and like pick you up and move you around. And they go, woo, like,
I hope so.
yeah, shake you up. Um, but this one is definitely a fantastical view of Space Camp. It's like, oh my God, this is this is the coolest thing you could ever do. Basically, a giant ad. But and I'll just get into it. What makes this ad really why this movie never really took off, because it feels like it could have. It's got a pretty great cast for the time. It cost 18 million. Well, for whatever reason, the budget ranges from 18 to 25 million. I don't know why. And John Williams does the score for the movie. But it only ended up making $10 million. And that's because the Challenger explosion happened 5 months before this movie. So this movie was actually finished before the Challenger explosion happened. And then it was supposed to come out a lot closer to the explosion, but it was like right after, and they pushed it. And they pushed it about 5 months ahead. And I guess it was still pretty sour at the time. And a lot of critics they weren't into this movie. Roger Ebert even said like he couldn't stand to watch this movie because of what had happened recently. Because I mean, that was a huge tragedy. Like that at the time, people were like really sad about, because there was a teacher on there and everything. So it definitely didn't sit well. It also doesn't sit well because I read that what sends the kids in the space in this movie, which is the curtain, however the robot puts it, it's like the red curtain error or something, where a rocket's going to explode. That is the exact reason why the Challenger exploded in real life. So
Oh wow.
yeah, so it was very, very, very bad timing for this movie. So
Let's
that just,
see.
yeah, so it's just everything went against this movie. Um, but
It's almost
it's
like it's not really fair to the movie. I mean, despite what you may think of the movie, but it's
mhm.
like bad timing. I mean, does that
No.
it's not really this movie's fault, and then people are just like trashing it because it reminded them of a certain event that happened.
Yeah, I think that's wrong. I think it's wrong of Roger Ebert. I'm not saying this movie's good or anything, but I'm just saying like it's wrong of Roger Ebert to be like, yeah, this movie's not good because it's the memory of that explosion so fresh in my head. And it's like, well, it's not the movie's fault. It's not like it's trying to capitalize on the tragedy. It just happened to just be the very wrong time to put out a movie like this. It's like
Right. I
making
mean,
some kind of skyscraper escape explosion movie after 9/11. If it was made before it, it's like, well, it's not the movie's fault.
oh, I mean, I remember during 9/11 that certain movies were edited at the
Oh yeah.
time. Like Spider-Man, like in the trailer, you had
Mhm.
like the giant web in between the two twin towers, and they're like, "Oh, we gotta get that out of there."
Mhm.
And then or there's a lot of like scenes of explosions and other movies where like, "Oh, we gotta cut that out," you know, because it's
Mhm.
so I do remember movies changing based off of current events, but uh it's just funny because if this movie had came out like 2 months before that event happened, like nobody would have batted an eye.
Yeah, and who knows if it would have been a bigger hit because of that. Um, because I mean, it's an interesting idea. I think it's good for kids. It's an ABC film, so it's tied to Disney. The cast is Kate Capshaw, Leah Thompson, Kelly Preston, and Tom Skerritt, and of course Leaf Phoenix in his very first role, otherwise known now today as Joaquin Phoenix, Joker.
I I think we should call him Leaf, you know, just when we
I think
refer to
so
him.
too. Do you think he seems like the type who'd get a little upset if you called him Leaf nowadays?
I imagine he would, because I mean I mean I think that's like his actual name, isn't it? Leaf, like
Yes,
you
yeah,
know,
that's the name his parents gave him.
yeah, because it was supposed to be live River and Leaf.
Yes, yeah. And I actually don't know the story behind him changing his name, but
I'm not sure.
I know their parents were a part of like a cult or something, or like some kind of fringe religion.
Yeah, but no, yeah, he's in this one, and uh Leah Thompson and Cape Capshaw, from Temple of Doom.
Yes, you
Steven,
know.
Mrs. Steven Spielberg. Why didn't he just direct this movie, huh?
I know. I mean, John Williams is doing the score. You might as well get Spielberg in here too. And I don't know about you've seen Tom Skerritt in a movie ever since Big Bad Mama. Has like I get like gross vibe from him, especially when he's around like young girls. I'm like, stop right
Oh,
there, Tom. You're
no.
being don't
I,
do this.
no, I pretty much have wiped that movie out of my mind. And
Oh, I'm gonna keep bringing it back.
because every time I see Tom Skerritt, I just think of uh, 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 Halloween 3. That's the one I always think of whenever I see Tom Skerritt.
Really? Okay, well that's a good. I feel like that's a good connector. Um,
But uh, but no, yeah, it's like you stay away from those children, Tom Skerritt. You and William Shatner.
Yeah, right. Yeah, God. I even forgot William Shatner was in that movie. What a movie that I never want to watch again. But yeah, this movie is your classic teenager setup of a bunch of kids coming together for camp. And they all come from different backgrounds. Leah Thompson, her character, she wants to be the first woman commander, but she's also a bit bossy and wants to take care of things for herself. Um, I should probably get their names really quickly so we could do that easily.
Her name
Leah,
is Catherine,
thank you, Catherine.
and
Um,
Lee Phoenix is Max.
I remember that one. Trust me.
And the engineer, that's Rudy, and then Kate Donovan's name is Kevin, I think.
Yes, yeah, it's Kevin, who is kind of like he's arrogant and he just doesn't want to be there. His dad bought him a Jeep, and that meant he had to go to space camp, and he's just kind of there to coast by. And then there's Tish, played by Kelly Preston, who's kind of like a valley girl, but also extremely smart. She remembers every book she ever reads. So
What was her what was her role in the spaceship? Well, did they?
communications. Remember, she's the one who
Oh,
does Morse code at the end of the movie
that's right.
because she talks about wanting to talk to aliens. Um, try
And
that,
what
you
was
know.
and Cape Capshaw's name was
Oh, Andy.
Andy. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, Andy. So yeah, Andy is an astronaut who seems to always get skipped over for being the commander she wants to be, and she's kind of forced into this role as a teacher at space camp, which I thought would maybe play a bit more of a role in the movie of her hating this job or not wanting to do it. But I don't know about you. I felt like her character got boring really fast. And maybe it's just Kate Capshaw, but I felt like at a certain point she just became kind of just became the adult of the crew, and that's it.
I mean, I didn't really think any of these characters were all that
I
interesting, to
guess
be
you're right.
honest.
I guess you're right.
But but I this is just me being I don't think Kate Capshaw is all that great of an actress, like, to begin
No,
with. Like, I
I
mean,
mean, and I think
even
most
from
people
the
would agree with you.
even from the Temple Doom days and this one, it's like she's playing like this southern
Mm,
character, and she's just kind of like bossy, and like Leah Thompson, Catherine's like, I want to be the first female pilot, and she's just like, but she's really hard on her, and just trying to
mhm.
make her feel like really inadequate in certain ways.
Yeah, because she sees herself in her, and it's like you're gonna have to get used to this, honey, kind of deal. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So and okay, so I gotta bring up Jinx, who is the well, actually, no. Before we get into that, I do want to talk. I do want to bring up that it's really weird how Kevin gets in. He steals the badge of another kid at the thing so he can get in with Leah Thompson because he's attracted to her. Um, and I don't think that would ever fly. I think like the Kate Capshaw's like, okay, is Hideo here? And he's like, yep, that's me. I'm Hideo, but you can pronounce it Kevin. And then they're just like, okay, and then it's never
Well, yeah,
talked about again.
because they probably would have just been like, no, go back to your other group.
Yeah,
Like,
we're gonna go get Hideo and we're gonna swap you out.
yeah.
Um, But yeah, and then there's Jinx, who's the android. NASA is so good. They have like these robots, and I think this is them going for like a short circuit thing because it's got a kooky robotic voice, and he'll do anything you ask. And Max is really obsessed with like Star Wars and sci-fi, so he gets really obsessed
What
with
the
the
hell, Star
android.
Wars?
Oh, I actually didn't understand this, and I'm glad you brought it up. They kept bringing up names like Luke Skywalker, the Force, and I tried to look it up, and I had to like dig through some archives. It's actually on the Internet Archive, and there's some
Yeah.
obscure movie called Star Wars that has like these weird things. I don't get why it's referenced here so much. Now, I did know about the Enterprise. They did mention the Enterprise at one
Well,
point.
yeah, I mean, Star Trek, I get. I mean, that's like
Mhm.
global phenomenon.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, you remember Star Trek Nemesis when that came out in 2002, people were
Well,
going nuts.
I had my ticket.
Oh yeah, I no, me too. And I remember Nemesis morning, but that's for a different time. That's a story for another time. Um, but but yeah, so Max and Jinx become best friends, and it's so silly because Jinx is like, must make Max happy, and just like that's his number one goal is to make Max very happy.
Must make Max happy.
That's perfect. That was an amazing impression. Yeah, and honestly, it's so stupid that I kind of liked it because it made me laugh every time these two were on screen because
Well,
it's so
well,
bizarre.
there was funny because he Max sneaks Jinx into like the dorm rooms,
Hmm.
and they eventually like all the other dorm mates like just see Jinx and they're like, oh, whoa. And one guy went like, oh shit. And Jinx is like, shit, solid waste.
Yes. Which I was surprised for this movie. It's a kids' family movie. It gets really fantastical. There's like they say shit. They at one point Max says jerk off. Like there's a bunch of cursing at the beginning of this movie.
Oh yeah. It's definitely like of the time of the 80s where swearing in like these types of movies really was not a big deal. Like this is before PG-13, I think, or
I don't remember when Red Dawn came out. I want to say that was like same year, maybe.
I think
Um,
maybe I thought Red Dawn was earlier than that. I thought that was like 84, but
was it?
maybe I'm
Well,
wrong.
because Red Dawn was the first PG-13 movie, right?
Could be, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but I don't see a rating on here. But anyway, it was a different time. Like you got to think, and you're right, it is 84. Um, because think of it like the Goonies. The Goonies is the same way, right? Where it's like, oh, these kids are acting like adults, and that's okay. Um, even though I wouldn't say they necessarily act like adults. Even though
No.
Max is literally like 12 years old. He's like so much younger than everybody else in
I,
this movie.
and he hates it that he always gets passed over. They always put him in junior space camp,
But
and
now,
they're like, oh well, screw up one time, I'm sending you over to the juniors, but I'll let you in this year.
yeah, isn't that amazing that like that's great script writing when the character goes, "Oh, I can't make it in." And they're like, "Nope, you can't." And then he goes, "Please?" "Oh, okay, that's fine. You can join in." It's just that
That's that's
easy.
usually that's usually what happens. Like if you go to a bar and you're underage and you just like, can I please have a beer? They'll just give it to you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think that's just real life. They're writing just like real life. Um
Hmm.
but yeah, so the way this movie works is that they don't work well as a team. So they end up like screwing up this whole simulation that they're in. And Max gets yelled at because Kevin sneaks out and the robot accidentally reveals the secret. Um, and
To
so
go have a date with Catherine. That's why he sneaks out.
exactly, and they actually make out there, but that the relationship does not develop beyond that really. Um, But in that moment, Max is crying. He's like, I just want to go far away from here. So it's Matt, I'm taking Max to space. So,
He says, yeah, because he says like, I want to go to outer space, and
mhm.
uh, I before we get to the exciting incident
Oh,
though,
yes. Okay.
I do I want to say something about Leah Thompson's character because
Hmm.
I was kind of like expecting her to be like, because she's like, oh, I'm really smart, like I've read all these books, and you know, like
Hmm.
I know what I'm talking about, but she chokes every single time in this movie. Like it, anytime there's like something to be done, she always inevitably makes the wrong decision or doesn't make any or just kind of freezes in that moment until the very end of the movie, when she kind of like, oh, now I can pilot
Mhm.
this spaceship.
But even then, her character arc is really weird. I don't understand what they're getting at because she's supposed to be, she wants to be a commander. And I feel like the arc should have been like she kept failing, kept pushing, and then eventually she like really settled into that role. But instead, her lesson was, oh, I'm not fit to be a commander. I'm a pilot. That's all I am. And that's supposed to be like the lesson that she was going too far. She was choosing to be something that she wasn't, which I don't know if that was correct.
I was kind of like what I was kind of expecting, it was going to be like she's actually super knowledgeable and she can do a lot of things,
Mm-mm.
um but you know what, there's just like maybe one aspect that she's not able to conquer, like like, oh, like I can do like engineering, like I know everything about the ship, but like when it
Mm-hmm.
actually comes to utilizing it or whatever, like I'm just gonna, I kind of choke in the moment. But
Mm-hmm.
or be something like, oh, like I'm actually like really book smart, but when it actually comes to applying it in the real world, I kind of freeze in the moment. Because
Gotcha.
like the difference of like book smart, like knowing what to do in the situation versus actually being in that situation.
Mm-hmm. No, and that is a good way to look at it. Like if that was like, but it doesn't really do that with her character. Her character is like I would say the main focus of this movie, except for maybe Kevin. Um, and just like any other character here, I don't know what they were trying to do with her, and I felt like she came off more annoying than they probably wanted because she ends up messing up a lot, and she messes up a lot of other people's stuff, makes people not trust certain characters because of her ineptitude.
He almost kills them more than
Yes.
once.
Yes. Yeah. So it's just kind of bad character because at least like some of the other ones have an actual like an arc. I mean, Tish doesn't. Yeah, I don't know what she does.
She doesn't really do anything in this movie.
Yeah.
That's why I asked what her role was.
Yeah. Kevin's like probably the one with the most solid arc, where his is that he's nonchalant and doesn't care, but whenever he has to step up and be commander, he can do it and he can be calm in the face of that.
Speaking of Kevin, don't you think I didn't you think it was really weird of like how he spoke sometimes, like just like his mannerisms of how I thought he did, like he was kind of doing like a Shatner thing, kind of at certain points where he was just
I
like,
did not get that.
we
No.
cannot go to space.
That's
Like it
so
was just these.
no, I did not pick up on that. That's really funny though.
I
Uh,
was just hearing that and I just thought like I thought maybe he like watched some episodes of Star Trek and he was just trying to do like
Kirk.
like the
Yeah,
Kirk
maybe.
voice.
Yeah, he was just doing it for Max just to make him happy. Um,
Max is like, what the hell is Star Trek?
don't know. I know this obscure ass movie, Star Wars. Um,
Um, and then Rudy, I mean, he's just kind of whatever. I mean, he does, he wants to own like a fast food restaurant, I think is what he says.
yeah,
And
in space, the first fast food restaurant chain in space.
brilliant.
Yeah, his thing is that he really likes science, but he has a hard time understanding it. But I never got that arc from him. At some point in the movie, he just does something well and asks them to trust him, and he does it.
He can read a book.
Yeah, he can read
That's and,
it. Good. It's not bad. I guess it's not bad.
no. And did you think that little Max was going to turn into such a big Oscar-winning star from this role?
No, he definitely his role. Maybe he's the most charismatic of everybody, but that's just because he's like the cute little kid, right? Like he's like supposed to be the one that's like little tiny, a little funny, a little silly. But I would never think, oh yeah, he's Oscar. He'll be an Oscar winner, one of the great performers of all time. Maybe I would put him up there. No, not from Space Camp.
I didn't think he was very good in this movie, but again, he was a child, so
Yeah, give him a Razzie though.
yeah, time for. Razzie nomination.
Yeah. But like it's so weird what this movie works with because for the first 30 minutes, and I mean it takes 30 minutes to get to this point, other than a little bit of the robot running around, like it feels like this movie could have been just serious. The movie could have been just about kids at space camp learning about space camp and just kind of maybe being a drama. But then it takes it to another degree when the robot somehow, because they get a chance to sit in the rocket whenever they're testing it, and the robot makes it so an error happens that forces NASA to launch their ship into space. And now it's a bunch of children in space with one adult piloting the ship. And it's like, I don't know what it is, but that leap is just so insane that it's hard to be like, to put that down, right? To be like, oh, that's how the movie's a movie, right? It's just that crazy that it just makes you go, okay, this is too much.
It did because the movie's very grounded, other than the robot character in the first
Hmm.
half. And it kind of just feels like almost like a commercial
Hmm.
for Space Camp. Like, oh, you could go here, you can do this flight simulator, you can hang out with
Hmm.
other kids that love space. But like you said, they get to the point where like, oh well, something's got to happen. They got to go to space, and it's just
Hmm.
it comes to the point of like, well, if we don't launch them into outer space, their ship is going to just explode, and they're all going to die. So they, we have to launch them into space.
Yeah, which is so like I wonder if they would actually do that. Like I know that's crazy to say.
They just let it explode.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, would they like rather like actually launch? Like,
They're
would they
like
get him
like
more? Oh, go ahead.
like an analyst is sitting right there, being like, it's like, well, actually, it's cheaper just to let it explode, and we just build a new one.
I would not be surprised. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be surprised that like for a moment they were like, okay, well, what causes more bad publicity? Putting a bunch of children in the space to die of oxygen loss, or just letting them explode on the launch pad?
Right, because when they get on the spaceship, they're not preparing for a journey, so they don't have any oxygen,
Yes.
and they don't have any food or water on the ship either.
Yeah, and they don't have radio contact because the radio is only shortwave because it was never meant to be launched into space. So they have no contact with NASA either. So it's literally everything that could go wrong. It feels like a children's fantasy for sure. I mean, that's why this is a kids movie. Like this is something a kid would come up with. Like this is how my class gets to space. Something like that. Like it's it's very goofy. And that's why I'm like surprised the caliber of cast that is in this movie because this feels more like a made for TV Disney movie. I know Disney Channel wasn't really a thing at this point, just maybe a made for TV ABC movie
Oh,
rather.
this would be perfect for one of those types. So it's just
Yeah.
like a made for TV. Like I could totally had seen this being like a Disney Channel original movie or something.
Yeah, and there it makes more sense, but as a $25 million movie theater movie, it just like it's just a little too goofy, I guess.
I mean, I remember we had this movie on VHS, and
Really?
my brother is older than me, and I'm pretty sure he watched this movie.
No, and it
So
seemed when you looked at we watched this on YouTube, and I don't know if you looked at the comments. Plenty of nostalgia for this movie. There's plenty of people that love this movie when they were kids. I mean, it's space. Space is cool when you're a kid, and space camp, getting to see kids in space. So maybe I'm just out of that age range for this one. But I just think when they get to space, it's not as exciting as it could be because it's all about them not having oxygen. So as soon as they get there, they have to have enough oxygen to make it to the window so they can actually fall back into space and be safe for it. Um, but they are so low on oxygen that they can't do it. So they have to go to Daedalus, which is the NASA space station, and they have to get oxygen from that. And that sequence at the space station, did you feel this? It was so long. It took forever to get through this scene of Kate Capshaw out there not getting the oxygen, and then she can't reach it. So then Max has to get prepared to get the oxygen. And then he goes out there, and it takes like another 15 minutes to get back to the ship. It's so
because
long.
yeah, because he's the only one that could, because she can't get to the oxygen canisters
Hmm.
because it's these grates are they're too small, and the only one, and Max is the only one small enough to actually go in there and
Hmm.
get it.
Yes.
And it just, yeah, I thought that even though this is probably like one of the biggest sequences in the movie,
Oh,
it's
it's
still
special
probably
effects wonder over here, like green screens and everything.
it's pretty dull in my opinion. Like it's just
Very dull.
there's I mean the whole thing is like, oh my gosh, are they gonna get away or what? But I just didn't feel the tension in the slightest.
No. And maybe it's because you're dealing with a bunch of children. And is this movie willing to take the chance to kill a child here? No, it's not that type of
No.
movie. Even
I'm,
go ahead.
even maybe if maybe if they killed Andy's character or something like that, or I could
Yeah.
that then I'm like, oh okay, now we got some stakes here.
Yeah, and I was honestly expecting them to do that for real because my thought as soon as they went to space is okay, they got to figure out because the adult is too competent. This adult could handle all of this. How are they going to get her out of this? And they do get her out of it, not by killing her. She gets locked out of the space shuttle and she's dangling, and they're about to hit their window. And they force Leah Thompson to almost make the choice to murder her because there's a switch where they could just like launch and, go on autopilot and go back down, but it would kill Kate Capshaw. And she's sitting there sweating, like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I'm going to
She
kill
can't make
her or
up her
not.
she can't make up her mind, and like Kevin has to step in there and like override the system because he's just like, oh
Yeah.
no, we're not gonna let her die.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's when Kevin goes like, "Do this and do that and do that," and Leah Thompson just sitting there, just like freaked out because she had to
Uh,
make that decision.
well, I mean, and there's other moments too. Like so when they get the oxygen canister, uh, Max accidentally goes flying like untethered into to outer space, which normally at that point you're screwed, like you're about to
Yes.
die. But Andy's got like a jetpack on her that thrusters on her suit. She's like, I'm coming to get you. And I'm thinking the whole time, I'm like, well, he's the youngest character in this movie. Like they're not if they're gonna kill a character off, it's not gonna be like the little kid.
No, there's
And
no to die in like floating in space, a horrible death. No, not happening.
yeah. And and then they have the scene too. There's another Catherine screw up because they have to hook the oxygen into the system,
Hmm.
and the whole thing is, like, oh no, like which one do we need to plug it into? And Rudy at first is like, oh, you got to plug it into the green one or whatever.
Hmm.
And they're like, there is no blue one next to the green one. And then Catherine jumps in, is like, actually, it's the one next to the red one. And Rudy's
Yeah.
like, no, that's not it. Because the whole thing is like, if they hook it to the wrong one, the whole spaceship is just going to explode.
Yes.
And and then Rudy's like, no, you have to hook it. I meant to say the yellow one. You got to hook it to the blue one that's next to the yellow one. And he did it and he was right. But I'm just, again, Catherine was just stepping in again, could have just killed everybody, like right there.
I know, right? After all of this, that's how everybody dies. And what made her like just like go like, oh, that's the one. This completely wrong one here. I don't know. It just seems like she's more and more inept every day. Because at the end of the movie, I mean, this is skipping a good amount. She has to basically get the ship into a roll in order to perfectly get it down into orbit. And it takes her so long to get it down perfectly. And then it's not even over there. She has to make keep the nose at 30 degrees. And she can barely keep it there for the whole time. So she's just barely like having this whole team survive. Um,
Yeah, like I said, I was already like, well, they're gonna make it safely. Everything was gonna be
of
fine.
course.
I just it's I just I was already expecting like the end, but I mean, like I the thing that was more shocking is just how abrupt the movie just ends. Like it
Yeah.
just they did literally touch ground. Like, yeah, we made it, and then just boom, credits.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that we cover every once in a while where the movie just ends because you expect at least a little epilogue, like them getting off the ship and everyone hugging them and being happy. But no, it uses
Or
some
yeah, like
stock
an epilogue,
footage.
like Catherine went on to be, running her own,
Yeah.
making like going to space many times or something.
Yeah, just something, just a little, or maybe even the relationship between them getting development and maybe working out in the end. But no, yeah, I think I read that it's stock footage at the end of the movie, and then they end on stock footage with credits. It's just that is it. They were like, okay, they lived. We don't want to think about anything else because they just land somewhere else that another space shuttle landed at before. And the reason we skip over so much, I feel like once the inciting incident is funny, but once you're in space, somehow it becomes even more dull than the space camp stuff. Um, Maybe it's because Jinx is barely in it, except for Jinx is like, I am going to NASA to save Max, and like goes to NASA and convinces them. They're like, "What are you doing here, you damn robot?" And
Yeah.
which is so stupid. How I was there's a scene where Tom Skerritt's literally talking to the robot. It's like, "I'm gonna get you a can of oil." And I'm just like, how is he doing this? How is he performing next to this thing?
Like actually taking this seriously.
Yeah, there's no way. I don't think I could do it. I'm sorry.
No, it's yeah.
It's
I think
silly.
overall it's a very silly movie. It's completely cheesy, but I mean for me it's just I said it already. It's just I thought the stakes were very low for this
Mm.
movie, and at no point did I ever feel like that they were ever in any danger whatsoever. I mean, I guess context wise, like if the Challenger explosion happened and then like 5 months later I watched that, I probably would be thinking the whole
Oh
time
yeah.
like, is this spaceship gonna explode?
Which might
But
actually just make you feel horrible. Which maybe some feelings you can't get away from, right? Like maybe you just see the movie and you just can't get away from the feeling of just like kind of like this like, oh yeah, this just happened. I can't stand like to watch this.
yeah, it I I didn't really care for the movie, to be honest. I mean, I thought it was a little dull, like I said.
Hmm.
I mean it's completely harmless. I mean, but the Jinx robot bit, that was kind of fun.
Hmm.
But to me, it would be a pretty forgettable movie in my mind.
No, and I totally agree. I think this movie
Yeah.
is forgettable. It feels like a movie that I won't completely forget, and that's only because of the Jinx stuff, because
Yeah.
that I thought that was so funny. But otherwise, I'm gonna forget everything else. I'll probably forget who was even in the movie other than Joaquin Phoenix. It'll be gone. This movie is not worth a revisit in my mind. It's just kind of weak. Just a weak family movie. Nothing special.
Would you break the news to your mom that you didn't
Yeah,
like it?
yeah, I did. And she seemed completely fine with my opinion. She probably would
Disowned.
agree with me. Yeah, like how dare you? I wonder if I'll convince her to watch it again. Just to see how she would feel
That
about
that would be the only way I'd watch it again if I watched it with somebody who had like a completely sentimental value to it. But
it.
then
Hmm.
it had been years since they watched it and they watched it again. They're just like, oh,
They're sleeping next to you doing the James Rolfe
yeah,
sleep.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that would be a fun way to watch this movie. But otherwise, don't watch it. But I do think that wraps it up for this one. Ryan, what are we going to be covering on Thursday?
Well, Nathan, we're going to be covering one of my childhood favorites. We're going to be talking about Ready to Rumble, and that is free on YouTube and Tubi.
Awesome. You know I'm excited to watch that one. Until next time.
Till next time.